know if they were still alive or not.
Yeah, and Pam, my oldest one, she passed, and she was murdered, and that was in 1995.
Unbelievable story, I tell you. I want to remind everyone that they're listening to Eleanor's Elite Radio, and you will be able to purchase Marsha's books through Amazon, and you can find her also on Facebook. And also you can find the information on my website and Facebook fan page, Eleanor's Elite Radio on Facebook, and Eleanor'sEliteRadioShow.com. That's where you'll be able to hear this interview. Also on YouTube, Spreaker, iTunes. You'll be able to get it anywhere that you have access to a phone or a computer. Just want to remind everybody. And Marsha's books can be purchased through Amazon and I think Barnes & Noble too, I saw. So, and if not, if you're having difficulty get them, just contact Marsha and you will be able to purchase the books maybe directly from her. Right, Marsha? How else can they get them? Through Barnes & Nobles and Amazon, right?
Yes, it's all over the internet. I mean, there's over 200 places that sell my book on there. All they have to do is type in my name or God Answered Me, and it will pop right up.
So, Marsha, can I ask a question? This is not the final. I wanted to save this for my end of our interview, but so how did God answer you? Or is that still yet to be answered?
No, I've had several experiences, and the first experience in the introduction is a very spiritual read. And back in 2010, I didn't know how sick I was, and I had a 25-pound tumor inside me at that time. And this, I was saying a prayer, but I didn't know I was dying, but I was really dying. And I happened to be outside in the garage doing some laundry, and I started saying a prayer, and I started asking God, I don't know if there's life after death. And if there is, I don't think I'd want to come back as a human. I'd want to come back as an angel to save all these children of the world.
Right.
And then come to find out, in November of that year, it was discovered I had this tumor, and I went into the hospital. Well, 5 years later, my two grandsons told me a secret. And we're driving along, and then they said, Grandma, we have something to tell you. We're both 10 years old now. And I said, what do you have to tell me? And who told you? He goes, well, Grandma, the girl that came to our window. And I thought, oh, my God, because I have an upstairs.
Right.
What girl came to their window? And I started asking them more questions about it, and they said that a girl came to their window and knocked on the window, told them to come to the window and not to be afraid. And she told them that there was bad people after her, and she had to talk really fast. And Isaac, my grandson, said she had a hole in her neck, and there was blood coming out. And Isaac asked if she was all right, and she said yes, that she was fine, and she had a secret she wanted to tell them. And she's been watching them for a long time and seeing how they treat their grandmother, and she's really proud of them. And then she turned around and she said, they're here. And Isaac and Christian's both looking out of the window, and they seen two figures standing in the middle of the street. One figure had red eyes, and the other figure had white eyes, and one was carrying a sword, and the other one had a knife. They said this little girl turned around, wings grew out of her back. She flew up, grabbed both figures, took them up in the air, and they turned into some type of ash before they hit the ground. And then she came back to the window, and she told them that she would see them both in heaven, and she wished she could be their guardian angel. And there's more to that in the book.
That's unbelievable.
And it was amazing. They held that secret for 5 years, and I even separated my grandsons, and I went on to question them.
Well, because you would imagine, right? Because you would imagine 10 years old, maybe they're gonna, maybe not lie intentionally, but children have a very wild imagination, and you just would like to know, how much of it did they imagine or how much of it is truth. But you said you separated them, and they both had the same story to tell you. Isn't that something?
Yeah. surprised me. I started writing everything down that they were telling me, and neither one of them hesitated. They both said the same identical thing. And that's not the only, spiritual happenings that I've had. There's several of them, and in each chapter I'll be writing more on that.
Yeah. Can you share anything else, or would that be ruining it for your new chapters to be written? Would you like to save it and not share it?
No, I can tell you an experience. In fact, I was talking about this to one of my brothers last night. When I was a little girl, it was very rare that we ever got to spend time with another cousin or something. And then one day I was spending just a few hours with this one cousin, and I guess I was in the second grade at that time, and we were walking down this country road. And we seen this boy run out, and we thought, well, we're going to go see why he ran out. We started running through this forest. I mean, we couldn't see what was in front of us. I was first, and I was hitting the branches out of the way. And then all of a sudden, it felt like this wind just came around and grabbed me by the waist and just held me still. And then I looked down, and there was a cliff. I was standing right on the edge of the cliff. And my cousin behind me, she says, do you know, if I would have touched you by a hair, we both would have died.
Yeah.
And I said, I know. But I literally felt something grab me.
I do believe in angels, and I do believe that we have, people that are angels that are looking out for us, and they're always with us. I do believe that, very much so. So, I mean, that's just amazing. I feel that also due to the fact that you had endured so much trauma in your life that you were just chosen. You were chosen to write and chosen to advocate for other voices. I met a wonderful woman. I interviewed her about a week ago. She's a photographer, and she's just very blessed like you are, very talented and blessed. And she is putting together a photo shoot session for children who suffered sexual trauma. And I've kind of introduced her to another friend of mine who will be on July 14th, Dr. Christine Salinas, who also will be heading up. She has her own center here. She's a neuropediatric psychologist. And I would love to make that connection with you and Miss Christina, who is the photographer. Maybe, you and her can get together and talk and maybe do some emailing or phone calling, because I know you're in California. Maybe you can even help out with, helping her cause out. I think it would be a wonderful thing, because everybody's here's main goal is to help children. And that's why I do what I do. I've always been a child advocate, and I've always gone above and beyond the call of duty to lie, literally, whether it be legal or not legal, to help children. So I've done everything. I've always been that way, even from a young girl. So I want to introduce you to Christina, because I think the both of you could absolutely put something together, or maybe you can kind of, write a little something for her. Or something somehow. I just want to connect the two of you together. I think it would be a wonderful friendship, and possibly you can collaborate with something with Miss Christina Stewart. She's on my friends list as well. You can always, add her as a friend, Marsha. I think she would be wonderful for you to talk to.
That would be a pleasure.
Yeah. So I'm so enamored by everything you've. I'm so glad we've had the opportunity to talk today, and I'm so waiting on pins and needles for chapter 2 to come out, I'm kind of wanting it to come out. And then again, I'm a little, leery about it coming out, because I can't imagine, what else you're going to tell us. But it's a wonderful thing. I'm very grateful that you've had this opportunity to share with me today and my listeners, how a life can start, but how it can end up. That's, I think, the most important thing we have to take out of this today. Do you agree, dear?
Oh, I agree. My life is beautiful right now. I have my grandchildren. I have my husband. I have been truly blessed. I know that, with all the experiences that happened throughout my life. And I will continue to write till the day I die.
Right. And I hope that's the case too, because you really have so much to share. And I think you could be an opportunity for children who have suffered any kind of abuse, whether it be sexual, emotional, physical, anything, to be able to get some peace in knowing that they too can come out of it okay and be productive and be loving and know it's not their fault. That's huge for children. Most children that I've ever dealt with that have had some form of abuse, whether it be physical, sexual, or mental, always feel so guilty about it, and they feel like they're going to be as sick as the person who abused them. And that puts a lot of, it's just such a cycle that has to be stopped. And I think you're on that route to doing that, Miss Marsha. I do. And I really thank you from the bottom of my heart. I enjoyed reading it. I'm not a very big sci-fi person, but I think I'm going to try one of your science fiction books too. Because if you write as beautifully as you did in God Answered Me, then I think I'm going to try reading I'm open. I have a library of books. I am an avid reader, so I think I'll give it a try. Which one do you suggest I should try reading first?
I would say Sedona 9. Well, no, go with Precedence Bondage as part of the game. Sedona 999. That does have a little bit of bad language in it, but it's placed where it should be placed. But I would say go with Precedence. I made that book for all ages.
Could you tell us a little bit? Can you tell us a little bit about both of those books so people know? Because like myself, I'm not a sci-fi person, but maybe, by you explaining, maybe they'll say, hey, maybe I'll give that a try too. Explain a little bit of the books you've written.
Sedona 999, that's a science fiction. It's dazzling. It's about war, military, aliens. And this is about aliens crashing to the earth. It's about a psychopath general who runs the base, who likes to play mind games with his chosen victims. Dr. Peru, he's my baby on that book. He is fantastic. And he's the world's foremost geneticist. And he's summoned to the base when they have this rare species that had crashed to the earth. It's very interesting. And Precedence is about an ex-Russian assassin, and it's about homeless disappearing off of the streets with a deranged scientist who loves to do experiments, and it's a worldwide cover-up. It's a very beautiful read. It's fun. Both of these books, I could very well see them as movies. My sister told me, she said I cried.
Oh, how wonderful. Then I'll definitely give that one a try. I would love to have a signed copy for my library from you, Miss Marsha. So maybe when we go off air, I can email you my address and maybe you would grant me with a lovely signed copy from Miss Marsha. I would love to have it on my library shelf and be able to share it with my family.
Yeah, there's no problem with that. I'm going to have another company do my book for Precedence, and that's in the process right now.
Okay.
And then Sedona, no problem. I'll get you a copy of both of them and sign them for you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Miss Marsha, I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I mean that. Abuse is very close to my heart, and I feel that every child has a chance to be free of the abuse that they've endured. And I think that you have a huge part in playing with this as well. I think you are on the right path. And please, I hope you continue writing. I hope you continue to feel love and to experience love in the way God intended. God bless you, Miss Marsha. Again, everybody, you can get all of her information on Eleanor's Elite Radio fan page. My website is eleanorseliteradioshow.com. And you can contact Miss Marsha or myself. I'll have all of her information on my page. Again, Marsha, thank you so much for joining me today. And God bless you, darling.
Bless you too, Eleanor. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, dear. Have a great day. Bye-bye.